I think you should tell us about how the world actually was given you by your voice coach, without whom no one would have understood anything.
Well, I gabbled. I spoke incredibly quickly. I mean, so quickly, and I was completely puzzled. Do you know there's a Star Trek episode where there's a... It's very important. Most of human history and art can be expressed in Star Trek plots. And true, just to go on a slight side thing, I actually did the finals of my Cambridge degree was on the subject of Nietzsche and tragedy, and I mostly wrote about Star Trek, and I have to say I got a very good degree. It's partly because, just in case you wanted to write an essay about Nietzsche and Star Trek, was that Nietzsche argued that all tragedy was based on an opposition between the Apollonian and the Dionysiac instincts in ancient Greece, in particular Greek tragedy. In other words, the Dionysiac instinct for wine and revel and feasting, the id, as you might say, the animal part of us. And against that was the Apollonian, the harmonic, logic, reason, rhetoric. And that the Greek civilization was playing out in front of itself the story of its own beginnings, from blood feuds and trials and tribal wars and appetite and sexual lust and animal instincts, and this extraordinary thing of logic and reason that it had founded through Aristotle and the philosophers, and music and Pythagoras and everything else. And the two were constantly at war, as they are in all of us, of course, which is why tragedy is so fantastic a medium. And oddly enough, that's what most Star Trek stories are about. That you have the captain in the middle who is trying to balance both his humanity and his reason. And on his left shoulder in the original Star Trek, you have the appetitive, physical Dr. McCoy. Everything's, you know. And on his right shoulder, you have Spock, who is all reason. And they're both flawed because they don't balance the two. And they're at war with each other. Bones is always having a go at Spock. And Kirk is in the middle, representing the perfect solution. And not only that, the planets they visit usually make the mistake of being either over-ordered and over-reasonable and over-logical, so they kill those who dissent, and they do it calmly and reasonably, and they have to learn to be a bit human. You will learn to be human. And or they are just a savage race that needs reason and order. So it's that quest of the universe. Anyway, that's why Star Trek is incredibly important, of course.
And the connection with
there is a Star Trek plot where there is a race who live at incredible speed. And they live so fast you can't see them. And there's just a noise. And through some use of, it's pre-tachyon beams, but through some particular technology, they manage to sphere, and so you see all the rest, everyone's like this, and the new beings are like that. Anyway, I was like that. I was super fast. I was unbelievably hyper. I spoke so quickly, I had to have elocution lessons because nobody could understand a word I said.